today you might be feeling like Aries is kicked off for you 100%, and that's great. Or you might be feeling there's a bit of residue from the previous cycle or the previous year, and there's still some healing to unfold from that residue, really. It's just something that I've noticed in myself and some other people around me, that there's kind of things happening in parallel. So there's lots of progress and creation happening, lots of excitement about what's to come, but still a lot of stuff from the past to be cleaned up. So we are absolutely going through an upgrade so that we are able to create these new things and the new energy of this natural year. So if that's you, that's cool. Just think of it happening concurrently, uncreating and creating at the same time. So these workshops, if you are new to these workshops, hello Jody, they are designed to be a catalyst. They are at the turn of the cycle every month so that you can really tune in to what is going on in your business, what resonates from what I'm saying, what makes sense to you, so that you can then tune into your own wisdom and apply what needs to be applied to grow your business. So this is not about providing solutions. This is actually about planting seeds so you can remember, so you can tune in. So every business, I really want to stress this. I'm saying a lot of this stuff because we are in a new 12-month cycle. Just remember, every path for a business's growth is different. There are no cookie cutter solutions. We are told there are cookie cutter solutions, and that doesn't always feel right. And there's a reason it doesn't feel right. So you are here as a business owner, custodian of your creations, to listen, to be receptive to what your creation needs and when. So that's why we don't offer cookie cutter solutions. We just offer natural timing, getting you in tune with your natural timing and in tune with the growth of your business. So you're welcome to chat to me as we go along today. So just hit the chat box at the bottom of the screen here. If you have questions, if you want to share something about what I'm saying or an answer to my questions, all that energy really helps to create a vortex, a little vortex here of fire today. So feel free to share as much as you like. Okay, and you will need your piece of paper and a pen and your calendar. Yes, thank you, Leonie. If you've got your planner, mine's on the wall here, you'll need that too. And yes, Jody, the 12 cycle plan page of the planner. So if you're new to the planner, that's cool. I'm going to be explaining a lot about that today. And let's get cracking. So I'm just going to share my screen. Here we have business in balance. This is the why. Why we plan our businesses in this way. Why are we growing by natural timing? So the reason we work with each cycle, each function of business at a different time of the year, is so that we make sure all of the bases are covered. We've covered all the functions that a business needs to grow by the end of the year, end of the natural year. So we're not favoring some functions like doing heaps of marketing and neglecting finances, or, you know, lots of networking and forgetting that we actually need systems in the background, or whatever our preference is in business. We can often tend to neglect certain functions. So this approach means that we switch modes into a different function 12 times a year. And by the end of the year, we can breathe a sigh of relief knowing, okay, we've given equal attention to all those functions. And of course, they are by the 4 elements: fire, air, earth, and water, or the zodiac, if you're familiar with the zodiac. So this keeps it simple. This is all about you being a master of your business. We have to master certain tasks, certain functions in business to a point before we outsource them, before we get support, so that we know what we're looking for. So this is what it's designed to do. So we have the bare minimum, the simplest approach possible. So there's a layering process that happens year after year. So we're in initiation now. We'll be in initiation again, same time next year. So when that happens, we deepen, we expand our understanding, we apply it in a different way in our business. So these teachings will be applied quite differently same time next year. So that's why this repetition, this is how nature works, the repetition of cycles in nature, that's why they exist, because of that layering process. That's evolution. So the growth cycle, we are in the seed stage of the cycle now. This is the beginning of the natural year. So it is about scattering those seeds, seeing what germinates over the coming months. So it's quite an experimental time, really wanting to try out new things and taking some risks, being a bit daring, being bold in our approach. And that's certainly what Aries is here to teach us. And building on this whole theme of natural creators, and I've spoken about this in the Facebook Live group, and you might have, the Facebook Live shows, and you might have also seen my blog recently on this topic. Really what natural creators are and how they're different to the rest of people in business is that there are very simple self-mastery skills, if you like, that we need to learn as natural creators. And the first one is body sovereignty. And that means taking full responsibility for the only thing that we own, the only thing that we can control in life, which is the body that we are in. The only thing that is actually really within our realm of control. So honoring the body first before anything else. Natural timing. So natural timing is of course, what we're learning here with the natural cycles, becoming in tune with your own rhythm, the rhythm of creation, knowing what to do and when, becoming a farmer of your business tree. And co-creation, of course. Co-creation means that we are only doing 50% of the job of creation. As a business owner, 50%. The rest, Mother Earth, Spirit, and those co-creators around us that we choose to call in. So we don't have to, who's scribbling on my screen? Can everyone see that? That's crazy. Oh my God, I want to know how they did that. Someone's listening. So yes, co-creation means that we don't have to do 100% of the job. We are not burdened by what we have to create. We simply have to step up to that 50% mark and be receptive to help, to guidance around us, to the resources that exist in the physical and in the non-physical. So as a natural creator, if you can learn these 3 skills, these are the skills of the new paradigm. This enables you to create with ease and impact as well in this new world which is not defined by the strictures of the old paradigm, which is essentially scarcity, very hard work, working solo, basically doing things the hard way. So that frames the entire year really ahead. So I want to talk about cycles within cycles today. Now, some of you know that I have mentioned the seasons and how the seasons interact with the zodiac, the 12 cycle planner that we're all using, and what that means, how they can be overlaid on top of one another. Because of course the challenge is that depending on where you live, the seasons are different. And some places in the world only have 2 seasons, some have 6 seasons. There are, huge number of variations. But if we go by the 4 seasons of the northern and southern hemispheres, we can overlay those seasonal qualities and the tasks or activities that are suitable for that season of the year onto the zodiac. So in the southern hemisphere, we are in autumn now. And yet in the northern hemisphere, we're in spring. So there are different tasks, different things that are suitable for that time of year that really connect us to the timing of the land that we're standing on. Then, of course, the zodiac is kind of like that universal overlay that we're all influenced by, because it's beyond the Earth. It's out there in the planetary system. So we have these two influences, the one on Earth and the one beyond the Earth. And don't worry if this is all just too much because you're just getting into cycles. That's totally fine. But I'm really just touching on this. I'm planting a seed for those who have already been working with the cycles for a while and who are perhaps wondering about how the seasons interact. So for the next 3 cycles, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, we're in autumn or spring, depending on which hemisphere we're in. And these seasons give a particular flavor to the zodiac cycle. So if we're in Aries, which we are, in Aries, if you're in the northern hemisphere, then you're in spring, which is actually a perfect intersection, perfect timing with the Aries energy. It's the same energy. It's the energy of new beginnings, of starting things, launching projects, investing money, spreading those seeds. So it's almost like you've got the double whammy, or the concentration of that starter energy with Aries and spring at the same time. In the southern hemisphere, however, the flavor is a little bit different. So we're in autumn, and so that means there's a sense of, okay, really preparing for winter. And in business, that means winter is all about going inwards, and kind of, I like to say winter in business is about counting your pennies, counting your beans, you know, looking at what you have, being very mindful of what you're using, because winter means that things aren't really growing, things are stagnating and regenerating beneath the surface. So autumn is a preparation time for that. And if you're in the southern hemisphere and you have the Aries and the autumn influence, then this is the time to really, you don't want to be, you know, picking up the ball and running with it as you would in the northern hemisphere now, where it's spring and it's that double concentration of the Aries fire. So if you're familiar with the creator types as well, you'll see on the left and right here that there are certain creative types that pertain to the seasons. Now, this is something that I haven't mentioned before, but you'll only find out really what the details are when the creative constitutions come out, which really helps you to tune into your type and the time of year, the season of the year that you are most activated by. So in autumn, so these 3 months ahead are the lake, the ocean, and the tree. And spring, if you're in the northern hemisphere, we have lava, fire, and whirlwind. So this is just a little snippet, a little taste of how we can work with cycles within cycles. Any questions on this? I know some comments come through. I'll have a look in a moment. Probably just lots to digest for now. Cool. All right. Haha, cool. Nikki, on fire this week, just leased a treatment room about 10 minutes ago. Oh my goodness, you are already in it, Nikki. That's cool. That's great to see. And Janet, I'm glad you stayed up too. Great. So Leonie, it's really cool putting them all together. So yes, there's a lot to just percolate here. And as you get more, that's why I've only really ever taught one cycle, so that there was enough time for us to really get a sense of, okay, this is how a cycle works, because they all follow similar patterns of birth, life, and death. And now, once you get that in your bones, you can then open up to overlaying other cycles. Rachel, I feel like I'm on fire too. Got my first mentoring client yesterday. Woohoo, Rachel. Oh my God, you guys are already on it. This is good. All right. So make sure you check your inbox tomorrow. This is when I will be sending out the all the details from today's workshop, including the recording and also the worksheet, so that you don't have to take notes madly. It's all good. It will be included. So, oh, Mel's here. Hey, Mel, the ghost scribbler. Sorry, but you are live. Okay, yes, you made it live, Mel. First time. Woohoo! Jill saying collaboration seems to be on the cards when it's not. It is not my cycle. Yeah, okay, so we might talk about that later, Jill, because there's lots to unpack there. If you know your creator type and you know what season you're in, there's a lot we could talk about that in terms of how to apply your creator type in your work. Priscilla started her Shakti power circles this week. Wow, man, you guys are all rocking it already. So this is cool. Let's keep that vibe going. So your 12 cycle plan, this is the beginning of the natural year. This is the time that we want to set our intention for the year. And you'll see today why that's so important when we're talking about your setting your direction, setting your course as part of Aries. This is where the 12 cycle intention comes in. What is a 12 cycle intention? It is simply you looking forward to the year ahead and going, okay, when I tune into my business, when I tune into myself, what is it that I want to create this year? What is top of the list? What's my priority? So being able to articulate that in one line so that it really sits in your body, you feel that intention, that seed starts to germinate inside you for the year ahead and keeps germinating over the entire year. You will keep revisiting your 12 cycle intention throughout the whole year. And once you have that 12 cycle intention, and you may already know what some of your milestones ahead are, your milestones are the things that mark your progress. So if you imagine you're climbing a mountain peak, then you have to hammer steel rods into the terrain so you can keep climbing. And when you're hammering those steel rods in, you're able to keep going to the next one and to the next one. So these milestones are significant outcomes, things that you can measure, that you can mark in your business that are coming up this year. I'm going to share mine in a moment to give you some examples. But these are things that you can tick off. Yes, I know that's done. So you may not know all your milestones ahead. That is totally cool. It's all right, because we're going to really ground this and earth it when we get into Taurus next cycle. This is where your plan starts to really reach the ground level. But now you might already be really inspired by certain things that are on the horizon. Write them down. So my 12 cycle intention is to root the teachings, very operable, very particularly chosen that word, the operative word being root the teachings, because my business tree, when I tuned in Pisces, was a little bit lacking in the roots. And it's no surprise because my business has been 100% online for 4 years now. So it needs to be brought down to the ground level, into the body and on the land. So from that intention come my milestones. So I'm writing a book, which is on the creator type, which is body-based. The first Sacred Business Residential on the land. First time we all get to meet in the flesh. The Natural Creators Program, body-based. Sacred Money e-course, body-based. So everything is hanging on that intention that I set for the year. This is your guidepost throughout the whole year ahead. If you don't know it right now, that's cool, but you would have got a sense of it in the last cycle, and that's really what Pisces does for us. It helps us to distill what's really important to me in the future, what's coming, and releasing what's not. So if you want to share any of your milestones, or if you know your 12 cycle intention, put it in the chat. Let us know, because we can all learn from hearing different types of intentions. Mine is just one version. And depending on how mature your business tree is, what stage of growth your business is at, your intention is going to be different. If you're a really brand new business, then it's going to be far more experimental in nature. It's not going to be about putting roots down. It's going to be about trying different things, putting yourself out there, just running with different ideas. All right, what do we got here? Jill, this is showing me where to focus my needs to flow to now opposite to yours. Oh, I think you mean the previous slide, do you, Jill? Yeah, right. Nikki's intention to create financial abundance with ease and flow. Oh, very nice. I want to know where that relates to your business tree. What part of the tree does that financial abundance pertain to? Because as you can get more visual with this, it's a form of co-creation. It's actually handing over the control and saying, okay, universe, Mother Earth, soul of my business, show me, what do you need? This is actually bypassing the ego. And the ego then only kicks in when it knows what it needs to do. So Jill's saying, oh, getting off the ground, scary excitement for Taurus soil. Yeah, right. So you're moving up, out into the canopy, I guess. Nikki's saying that financial abundance relates to fruit. So yes, absolutely. That's good. That's good. Some people find that financial abundance relates to roots. Some it's fruits. So it doesn't matter. Whatever it means to you is what matters. And you feeling that resonance, that attunement to the business tree. Janet's saying, part of my intention would be just to integrate what I've learned so far. Cool. E.g. about my creator type mountain and my lessons from 2017, especially to start co-creating. Yeah, cool. Well, again, Janet, let's hear what part of your tree, when you visualize your business as a tree, what do you see? What's missing? What needs development? Especially to start co-creating. So if co-creating is on the cards, what part of the tree does that relate to? Cool. Some good examples. Thanks for sharing. Let's move it on. We haven't even got to Aries yet. We're here now. Okay. Aries initiation. What's it about? It's about peaceful revolution. So the traditional initiation approach is controlling people and outcomes, bulldozing them, forcing them to do things. This is what an Aries out of control can look like. It's like just full steam ahead, thinking of only what they can see and nothing else. But of course, this is what Aries needs to be, because they're kicking off the entire 12-month cycle. They have to be so focused in a way, because they've got to initiate everyone. They've got to get the ball rolling. But of course, there's a balance. We don't want to be doing traditional initiation where we're bulldozing people to make change. Aries can be very impatient. So they can also, in the traditional initiation approach in business, it can also be about dwelling on the shadows. So revolution can be about a lot of hate and anger instead of what peaceful revolution is about, and that is love in action. So natural initiation, on the other hand, is about planting seeds. Literally planting seeds, scattering seeds to see which ones germinate, because we cannot control which seeds germinate. There are too many factors, too many conditions that need to come together in order for a seed to germinate. So if we have an idea or an ideal, or we think something should happen, or we want to create a revolution of some sort because we see what's wrong in the world, then the best possible approach begins with planting seeds. That's seeds in people's consciousness about a new way, about what you see as possible, and then nurturing those seeds. And we'll talk more about that. But this really involves making invitations to people rather than forcing, and listening for their feedback, listening to see, to hear which of those seeds are speaking back to me, which of those seeds feel like they're germinating because people are responding. So in this cycle, some seeds will not germinate, and that's cool. The universe will show you, people will show you what they want. So this is the way to create change peacefully. And in nature, you know, a seed is planted only to germinate when the conditions are absolutely right. It's simple as that. So later in this year, those seeds will germinate when the conditions are right. And you, again, as a natural creator, are only doing 50% of that job. You're tracking the seeds, you're listening, you're responding to the feedback you get, and then taking steps with that information. So while we want to get all fiery today, we want to be channeling that fire through the heart, and that's what allows that anger, that fire, that rage in the gut that wants change. And we all want change on some level on this planet at this time. We all desperately want it. It just depends how much you're feeling that fire. But we all want it. But can we channel it through the heart so we can really have the impact, the balanced impact that we desire? So we don't burn people with our fire, with what we desire. And that's what Aries in the shadow can do. So first question to ask yourself, how are you addressing the shadow of your industry? Is your tribe taking alternative actions? So are your tribe listening to this revolution that you are standing for and therefore acting differently? That's the real litmus test. Or are they just still staying asleep doing the same thing, the same thing, the same thing? You will see from the choices that they make if they are really motivated by what you stand for. And are you taking bold action? Bold action. This is what Aries is about. They take a risk, and they're kind of, they're very innocent in a way. The Aries energy is taking a blind risk a lot of the time, just going, okay, I'm stepping off the cliff because I know where I'm going, and that's that. And I've got immense courage to do so. And sometimes they're hated for it. They push buttons. That's what Aries is designed to do, to shake things up in a major way. So really questioning, are you taking bold action in your business? Because you will become known for that. So first thing, is your intention congruent with your offering? So we're talking about direction now, which is your 12 cycle intention. So your 12 cycle intention for this natural year is your direction. This is what you are declaring now. This is part of what you stand for. This is where you are headed. You're setting your course for the whole year ahead. So your 12 cycle intention is something that you can share in various forms with your tribe. But the more you do, the more they remember it. The more you are planting seeds in their consciousness. And they can then get on board with you. Some of them may become co-creators of some sort. So this is, again, planting seeds. This is the whole theme of Aries. Now, there's my 12 cycle intention. And to align with that, you want to make sure that your offerings are in direct alignment with your intention. I see this all the time. People have an intention, they say they're going somewhere, and then there's nothing to back it up. Their actions don't align with their direction. So the offerings that you have, and these don't have to be offerings as these little, there's these extensions that I've got here. They can be activities, whatever it is, but the actions that you're taking must align with that intention. So this is the time to really reinvent, like you've we've obviously been through the reinvention process mentally in Aquarius. We've distilled everything down in Pisces, released what's no longer relevant, and we're left with the seeds. So the offerings, the things that you put out now must look different to last year, not more of the same. You might have been mentioning that they're coming, that's cool, but this is a new 12-month cycle. People want fresh stuff. So what are you giving them? So let me just have a look at the comments here. Rachel, I don't have clarity around the intentions for my 12 cycle plan yet, but I'm working on it. Cool, that's fine. You don't need to have it right in this moment, but I'm certainly planting the seed that it is important and it will come. Jillian, it is interesting, the dying and death discussion revolution I'm opening, but I can't see it yet in the major part of my business, but you are sharing. Cool. So this alignment between your intention, your direction, and the offerings, the things to support your direction, can take a bit of time. And the more you work with natural timing and the cycles, the more you actually start to see what's ahead and you can prepare. So as you know, year after year, okay, in Aries, I'm going to need this, this, and this. I'm going to need my intention. I'm going to need my new offering, some blah, blah, blah. You know months in advance. You can feel it coming. So when it gets to Aries, you're ready. I've been doing this now for four or 5 years, something like that. Oh, there's that scribble again. That makes me laugh. So yeah, this is what I mean by natural timing. So you are prepared when the timing actually comes. It's already in you, ready. It's like the ground preparing in winter for when the spring comes. Nothing's going on beneath the surface, but it's all happening beneath the ground, that replenishment, that germination. So some of you may already have felt this because you've been working with cycles for almost as long as I have even. So, you know what's coming. So this is a good thing. Makes you far more productive because you don't have to get to the time and go, oh God, I've got to think of this. If you're at that stage, it's cool. It's going to change. Okay. Oh, Nikki, milestone, launch mother and girls circles, mindful massage and facials, launch seasonal boxes. Yes, Nikki, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to those milestones. Woohoo. Because Nikki and I have been working together for some time now, and these circles, these mother and girls circles, the seeds were planted some time ago, weren't they, Nikki? So, they've been there kind of dormant. When's the right time? All the conditions haven't quite come together yet. So they've been in the pipeline for months at least. So this is what tends to happen. This is a good thing. Leonie, only last night I sat with the feeling that I'm finally living the life I've always wanted to live. Now it's time to get comfortable with that and explore it. Ooh, that's an interesting intention. So I want to know what comes of that. That's a nice feeling. Jody's is, your intention is hanging over a bit from last year's. Not entirely complete yet, but has moved on in the cycle. Yeah, and this is what is a good idea actually. If you're not clear on your intention for this year yet, have a look at last year's intention. Revisit it. Okay, so what was fulfilled from that intention and what wasn't? Because the what wasn't is probably going to carry on into this year. So Jody's also saying the new emotional archaeologist title I've created isn't creating amazing interest and new clients. Awesome. That's cool. So, this is what people want to hear and see in this Aries cycle. They want something different. Give it to them. Cool. Janet, is it okay if I know my milestones but not yet define my intention into words? Yes, that's absolutely okay. Let it come. The intention is not concrete. The milestones are concrete. They're coming pretty much from the mind once those seeds have been planted in the body. But the intention is almost all body. Like the words have to kind of just, arise from the body so that you fully feel connected with that intention. Priscilla, fine-tuning the focus of divine sovereignty and personal empowerment around sex and money. Is that your intention, Priscilla? Not entirely sure. But I like the sound of it. Partly. Yeah, cool. So it's all coming together. Nice. And Leonie put out that she's a paternologist this week. Well, there you go. That creates intrigue, doesn't it? This is good. So this is what we want. Aries, be bold, be daring, shake it up. So next, let's just do a time check. Right. What does your business stand for? This is Aries, planting its flag. You have a flag to plant, and now is the time to plant it for the year ahead. And there's two sides to this flag. There is light and there is shadow. So this is the line, this flag in the center between light and shadow is the line that you are walking with your business, with yourself. This is what you as a person stand for. So the shadow is what you want to transform, what you want to expose through your work, using your business as a vehicle. What is wrong in your industry? What is wrong in the world? What do you see that other people are not looking at that you need to be a voice for? And of course, the light is how you want to transform it. It's where you're leading people. And I will say that this line down the center it's a 50-50 split. If you truly want to create revolution, a peaceful revolution, you are walking this line 50-50, 50 shadow, 50% light. And you are constantly in transformation. You are constantly exposing shadow, transforming it into light. Exposing shadow, transforming into light. Like this is real mastery. There are very few people operating like this in the world. But if you are a true embodied revolutionary, this is what you'll be doing. So as some examples. Oh, and yes, we want to make sure that this flag that you're planting links to your 12 cycle intention. Of course it does. Because each year you are reinventing, you are coming up with a new version of that revolution, of what you stand for. So a year ago, it was something slightly different because now you're a year on in your evolution, so is humanity. So you can deepen this, you can strengthen it, you can hammer that flag deeper into the ground. So for those of you who may not know, because I keep banging on about it, neglecting the body to make money. This is one of my bugbears. This is what I'm really standing for this year. This is what I want to highlight out of my whole business mission and vision. This is the slice that I want to impact the most this year. If you want to make an impact in the world, work with your body first. If you try and make an impact out there and you try and grow your business out there while you're neglecting your body, you're working against nature. So you're making it hard for yourself. So, and of course, creating from ego and control. And I always talk about this as well, is that we are here to co-create, and that's the light. The light side of this shadow is body first, business second. Work with your primary vehicle first. And co-create in balance, in harmony with each other and with nature. Be receptive. Stop trying to control 100% of the outcomes, especially to make a profit. You do not need to do that. So this constant light and shadow, this line between the two that we are walking as revolutionaries, if we choose to really put our Aries hat on and make our mark, this is what it's about. So you'll know if you're really walking this. Well, two reasons, two signs, I suppose, that I've certainly noticed. One is that you'll feel uncomfortable a lot. And I'm not walking this line 100% of the time either. I come in and out of it. I'm still learning to walk this. But I feel uncomfortable a lot of the time. And that's because I'm constantly having to expose my own shadow, look at my own shadow and transform it into light. And then I'm speaking about it too. I'm not keeping it to myself. And I know some of you are also operating in this way, and you'll know how you need to develop that more in this year to come. The other thing is that the other sign that you're walking this line is that your tribe will remember. They will remember you, and they will remember this, what you stand for. They don't forget. Because anyone walking this line consistently is absolutely a standout in our society. Because most people are either going into shadow and getting stuck there, or they're going into light and doing spiritual bypassing, which we had a lovely, colourful conversation about in the live show this week. Everything's love and light, you know. And denying the shadow. So you can see so many examples in our world of people doing one or the other. Not many in the middle. So use these words, the words that you choose. You can see here in my shadow and light, I do not have many words. And there are keywords in there. So you want to use those repeatedly throughout the year, sprinkle them through all of your marketing. Use them repeatedly so people remember. They're anchors for people. And if you're using those words in an embodied way, so you're not just a talking head, you're actually walking your talk, they will hear and feel those words in their bodies. And that's when you're really making an impact on someone. It's in their bones. Cool. Is this making sense? Is this unearthing some stuff for you? Is this inspiring you perhaps? How's it landing? Let us know in the chat if you want to share anything. If you already know your shadow and your light aspects, the line that you're walking. Love to hear that. All right, before we move on, Leonie's loving it. That's good. Priscilla has a question. Is this personal shadow? So as we learn to work with it, we hold more clarity and power to work with our clients. Yeah, absolutely. This is your own shadow, yes, but it's also, it's the shadow out there that you see that makes you fucking angry. Aries is angry. That's why they're able to take risks, because they are fueled by fire. So if you don't know what makes you angry out there or in your life, you're not going to be able to connect with this. You can't walk that line without being able to feel that fire in your body. You can't stand for something without that. Cool. I hope that answers your question. Priscilla, great. As I deal with my own relationship with money and sex, it's clearer how I work with my clients. Yeah, cool. Absolutely. And this is just walking your talk. This is not about being, as I said before, a talking head who doesn't live what they preach. Jillian's saying, shadow side, giving away power to blame others for their situation. That is great. Light, recognizing how self-power and balance gives ownership for life. That's cool. I like it. So that's particularly in relation to relationships, Jill? Yeah. Cool. Leonie, this week I've changed my soapbox to my passion box. Oh, brilliant. Let's all have a passion box, everyone. Let's hear it, you know? Get on your passion box. And that's right. When you're walking this line, it comes across as passion. It doesn't come across as anger, and it doesn't come across with disconnection from the shadow. It doesn't come across as utopia and off with the fairies. It actually comes across as an embodied message. Passion box. I'm using that from now on. Thank you. All right, let's kick on. What seeds are you planting for future growth? So this relates to what I was saying earlier. This is the time of year where you are planting seeds. Now, I will go back to what I was talking about with the seasons earlier. If you are Northern Hemisphere, you're in spring and in Aries, so double the seeds because the build-up is happening to summer. You know, those seeds are really going to germinate fast in the next 6 months. In the Southern Hemisphere, we're going into autumn. So the seeds that you plant now are usually going to take, and this is just something I've observed over the last few years, they'll take longer. So they won't really germinate until, it'll be a slower germination, I should say, until the second half of the year, when spring hits for the Southern Hemisphere. So it's almost like a delay or a slow release, more so in the Southern Hemisphere, if that makes sense. Some of you may have noticed this as well. Yeah, cool. All right, so your activities, your seeds. So I want to talk about the soft launch, or what I call the co-creative launch. Now, this relates to any ideas that you have that you want to implement this year. They could be new offerings, they could be books, products, services, they could be just ideas for getting people together, whatever you have in your marketing, any idea. How are you going to germinate it? So you're planting seeds now, but it's for a soft launch. It's not a hard launch. Now, what most people do in business is they work by a hard launch. So on this date, everything goes live, everything's released, and it's bang, bang, bang. It's highly stressful, highly intense environment to work in. It frankly almost killed me when I started my business and I operated that way. It's simply not necessary. It's only necessary if you're impatient and you need the money now and you want to work in that way of being. But in natural timing, we work with a soft launch, and that kind of looks like this. So here's a few seeds that I have right now in my hot little hand, the seeds that I'm going to scatter, which I have very deliberately been talking about for a little while now anyway. Most of you will know this. So none of these are a shock. None of these are like, what? She's writing a book, or what's this creators pro? You know, I've been planting seeds for a while. This is what this whole process is about. When something is ready, people already knew about it 6 or 12 months ago, or even longer, because you planted the seed in their consciousness then. So it could germinate in them. And it will germinate in them if they're aligned with it. If they're not, it won't. And that's cool. That's what we want. So you're actually sharing those seeds with key people. So one of the ways I do this is through the Facebook live shows. I mention things that are coming down the track. Oftentimes, I don't know when they're coming, but I know they're coming. So it's just a mention. It's a casual mention. It's not a hard sell. It's just like, oh yeah, if it's relevant, I'll mention it. Or if someone asks me, I'll mention it. So your key people will have that seed germinating in them because they feel aligned with it. They feel excited by it. They feel they can get a sense then of, is this for me? Do I want to pay attention to this or not? And then in that process, over time, because you've planted the seed with key people deliberately, it helps you to refine the seed. It helps you to go, oh, okay, so this is what people are responding to. I'm getting good response from this. I'm not getting much response from this. So this is where I'm going to put my energy. Or these are the suggestions they're giving me, or this is what they're telling me. So I'm going to adapt. I'm going to adjust my seed. I'm going to adjust my approach accordingly. This is why it's a co-creative launch. It's a feedback loop. Because at the end of the day, when that seed is ready to see the light of day, you simply have to make an invitation. You just say, would you like to do this? Or this is ready now. Do you want it? What do you think? That's simple. That's a soft launch. No hard selling or, going nuts at the time that it's ready. trying to keep all the balls in the air and please everyone and have every I dotted and T crossed. It's just simply an invitation because you've done all of the lead up. And this could take an entire seasonal cycle. It could take a whole year, or it might take a quarter of the year or half of the year. Depends on the size of the significance of the creation. If it's something small, then much less time often. But if it's big, you need more lead up time. Is this landing? Is this making sense? Has anyone experienced this kind of thing? Slow business. Leonie, that is so cool and gives language to so much of what I have experienced in my business. Beautiful. That's good. Already doing it. I love it. Nikki, I now see that I've been doing this with my circles the last 6 months. Yes, you have. Planting that seed, you did that so well. That's right. So is it a more joyful process? Is it way less stress? Is it fun to include people as you're creating the offerings? So you don't have to create in a vacuum? And who knows, you might get co-creators come on board and go, oh, I actually want to be an active part of this. Awesome. Tommaso, finally someone who's put words on my belief. Yes, that's good. Tommaso, thank you. I'm glad it's resonating. All right, what are we doing with time? We're almost there. Okay, so your initiation steps. This is what's going to be outlined in the worksheet, so you don't have to write all this down, just let it sink into you. Your intention, that's your first job. Name your intention for this natural year. If you're not clear on this, bounce it off someone else. If you're doing partnering with someone else in this group this month, talk to them about it. See if they can help you, go back and forth, gain some clarity that way. Someone who understands what on earth you're banging on about with business trees and farmers and all the rest of it, talk to someone who knows all that. Offerings. What new or revised offerings align with your intention? Don't bore people with the same stuff. It's a new year. Of course you can repackage it, make it look different, put a different message on it, a different spin on it, paint it in a new light. It's a different context because you've got a new intention. Link it to that. It doesn't have to be a brand new offering or idea, but it's got to look different. It's got to shake it up. Revolution. What is the shadow and light of what you stand for? This is a fun one. Might want to throw it around with your partner for the month as well. And seeds. How will you plant the seeds for your future offerings? What's the avenue for planting those seeds? What's the little trough in the soil? Where's that trough exist? As I said, for me, it's the Facebook Live videos, which has been great. It's a great avenue to my tribe. I also plant those seeds in my newsletters. So what's the avenue for you? Might just be in person. Key people, one person at a time. Hand-picked people. Nikki, this resonates, Natalie, as a newbie to the cycles. You're not a newbie? Not really. Oh, yes. Okay, the whole cycle. Yep. Good. Yes. And your business is so nature-based, Nikki. I never see you as a newbie, but yes. With the planner, yes. And I must really reiterate that, some of you have been through this whole natural cycle, the 12 months, several times now. And each time, doesn't it get easier? Doesn't it become more effective? It's not new anymore. It's in you. Yeah, you've done about 4, Jill. That's awesome. Yes, Jillian was with me with the cycles right from the start. Far less stress. Yes, Priscilla, you named it. That is good. That's what we want. Okay. So, what's it all about? Putting the equation together. your intention plus, in brackets, shadow plus light. We don't just go shadow, we don't just go light, they go together. Plus your seeds equals your peaceful revolution. Is that exciting? I hope so. Peaceful revolution. If all of you had a peaceful revolution, that would be bloody exciting. So that's it for Aries, for the core teachings for this cycle. I'm going to go into planning for this cycle, so I'm going to share how I've planned my cycle for the month and give you some tips on applying it in your own business. So if you have to go, that's cool. If you want to stay, that's cool. And Rachel has a question about the creator types and astrology. I'm going to answer that. I didn't forget. So stay on if you can. All right, so partnering, this is a new concept. You know, it's only been 2 cycles that we've had partnering. It means that people who come to these workshops can nominate if they want to meet up for a virtual tea on Zoom with someone else in the group for the month. And together you can work through the worksheet, what's been outlined here today, and applying it to your business. Throw some ideas around, give each other feedback. I highly recommend it. It's a very enriching process. You'll get heaps out of it. Working with some, yeah, Gillian's done it twice, I think once or twice now. So this is totally optional, but it means that you have to put your name on the list and you have to choose someone that you want to partner with. Now, I actually am starting to get a sense as people are joining and I'm getting to know who's in the group of who would actually, sometimes I get a sense of who to partner each month. So I'm going to reach out to some of you and say, hey, you guys might want to partner together, especially if I know what's going on in your business, because we're working together privately, then sometimes a match is really worthwhile because I can see the similarities or the alignment there. So I will be doing that a bit more, being a matchmaker, a business matchmaker. But yes, that's it. So just keep that in mind. I'll be going through the spreadsheet, how to put your name up shortly, but we want to do this first. So planning your initiation cycle. So we are in a build up currently to the Libra full moon, which you can see on the 31st. Over Easter, that's when it's hitting. So Libra is the one in the business cycle sense. It's actually about networking. So some of you might be having time off over Easter. That's cool. But if you're not, then this is a time to really be reaching out to people who are going to help to spread and germinate your seeds. The energy is high. This is where Aries is balanced out through partnerships, through working with others, so that they're not just all focused on this is where I'm going. They're actually seeking that balance with other perspectives and people who can co-create or support them, support that vision. So that is a good time for that. And of course we're in retrograde, so yeah, some of you feel it quite strongly. Don't do anything too technical if that's you. If you're one of those people who's resistant to Mercury retro, well, lucky you. I think Leonie's one of the few who says it works in her favour, so good on you. You can just decide which side of the fence you want to be on. Yes, back up your technology. Yes, Jill, absolutely. So giving you a sense of my cycle intention. So your cycle intention is your 12 cycle intention. It's broken down into just this month based on the theme, based on what we've talked about today. What does it mean to you? What is your intention for this cycle? This is personal. Personal relating to your business, of course, but it is something that you take from this today. So mine was very much about calling in my co-creators, because I know that what I have on the horizon, my seeds are not going to germinate with just me. I need help. So I'm really calling in support. for later in the year particularly, and the actions that I've got on my list for this month, just a few of them. So I'm working with my book angel. I'm just kicking off that process this month with Toma Levine. She's a content partner, so that's going to help me immensely in speeding up the book writing process. Seeking out a venue for the Sacred Business Residential later this year. So again, I'm spreading seeds. I'm telling people this is coming. I may not find the venue. Someone else may find it for me. That's what we want. That's co-creation. That's what it's all about. So you got to get the seeds out there first. I'm going to be scheduling the Business by Nature interviewees, and some of you are on that list. So the live shows each week will include some of our tree members to start. So once a month there'll be a different tree member who I'll be interviewing on the show, as well as some external experts coming in who are resonant with the nature-based teachings. Also, something of interest is the cross-promotion day. So this is something that has been on my radar for ages. And this is just incidental, but some of you were part of this. So I did a Sacred Business showcase last year, and that's where hand-picked clients of mine actually appeared on the Sacred Business website with, really showcasing what their business was about, links to their pages, etc. But what I found was it wasn't the most effective way to get their message, their business out there, and that it needed to happen much more organically. So what we'll be doing instead in the Business by Nature group is having cross-promotion day once a month, and it's going to start on the full moon in Libra, perfect, networking, where you get to promote one person or one business, your choice, and basically give them a huge praise. Say what you think. Why do you love them? Share their links with people. Who is it that you want to promote? So we're getting out of this mode of self-promotion the hard way. I have to always keep promoting myself. That's not how the new paradigm works. This is all about networks, being part of a tribe. So who do you want to promote? Who do you want to elevate? So that's something to just tune into, see how that lands with you if you want to be part of that. That's coming. So that's just an example of something you might choose to do on a Libra full moon, for example. Okay, so you get some ideas here, hopefully writing down your own actions for the month. I don't complete all my actions every single month. That's not how natural cycles work. I do, however, give every single one attention each month, because sometimes some actions are not meant to be completed in the current cycle. And so what I do is when I'm going through my previous cycle actions, I put a little arrow to say carry over. So it means that's still going. I still need to keep working on that. Still needs more attention and energy. So that's just a little footnote for those perfectionists out there. Okay. Any other things anyone wants to share? Please do in the chat. We're just wrapping up. But those of you who don't know, the Business by Nature directory is where you want to add your name for partnering. So this whole Business by Nature group is about creating a tribe, creating a network of people who have similar values, are doing things in a similar way, because we can often feel lost out there when we're not part of a tribe. And now is not the time to be on your own. You need to really call on your tribe now. Use them, lean on them. And this isn't really a tribe yet, because a lot of you don't know each other, but it is the start of something. And if you're looking for a place, and you're allowed to have multiple tribes for different purposes, of course, but you got to feel resonant with where you are. So that's what we're doing here. So when you're reaching out to your other members, and I'm just going to share my screen so I can share this spreadsheet. Where is it? There. Okay, so business by nature. Here's our little spreadsheet of current members, and you can see on the left here it shows what tier membership they have. So you're wanting to, if you're wanting to do partnering this month, you're looking for the saplings and the trees. So they're the paying members who are part of the workshops every month. And on the second tab down here, this is where you want to write down your name with whoever you've chosen to partner with. And you simply want to send them a private message on Facebook and just say, hey, you introduce yourself, tell them why you chose them. It could just be you're in the same time zone, or maybe you have the same creator type, whatever. Just make the invitation. You never know what could come of it. So that's just the way partnering works. It's very organic and it's completely optional. So any questions about that process before I answer Rachel's question? No? Okay, Jillian's saying, did I miss you answering the question? I assume you mean Rachel's question, and no, you didn't. And Rachel's here. Where are you, darling? There you are. If you want to ask a question live, you can. Go right ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Hiya. I'm really sorry. My camera's not working for some reason. I have these problems with Zoom. But my question was, does our astrological sign affect the way that affect our creator types, essentially?
Yes.
Or the way that we create?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, yes, of course there's an influence, but the way I've observed this sort of happening over time is very clearly people have like a soul blueprint, and their astrological chart is part of their soul blueprint. So it's more like at a soul level, these are the qualities you've come in with. But then the vehicle, the body that you choose is a manifestation of all of that. So it's you can't look at one aspect of the astrological chart and go, well, this is the creator type. It's simply not possible to do that. But of course, once you look at the body, you can go, oh, okay, this is how I see this playing out or that playing out. But yeah, if you were to smoosh the whole astrological chart together as one, you might come up with a creator type. I don't know. So that's just how I've observed it happening.
I was coming from the point of, like, I'm a fire sign, and if I'm a fire type, does that mean I'm like doubly fiery? Because I've got all this fire happening?
Yes, it does. I've often observed, however, that people, that they can have a very fiery body and there's not much fire in their chart.
Okay, right.
So, yeah, there's no rules. So, yes, you can see that. And yes, you could definitely say double fire, because if you do have a lot of fire in the chart and in the body, then absolutely. But sometimes it's the opposite. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I've observed. So, yeah.
All right, lovely. Thank you.
No worries. Cool. Any other questions? No? Are you feeling full? Are you feeling fiery? Hang on. I'm going to unmute you all now because you don't need to be muted anymore. How are you feeling?
Feeling excited. Feeling excited.
Woohoo!
Yeah, me too.
That's good. So that's the thing.
The passion box is large.
The passion box. That's the thing about Aries, is when you activate the fire, you got to know where you're going to put it. So this is the whole point of having an intention and a direction and the seeds. So that fire doesn't get wasted or just end up dying down and going inwards. So yes, they go hand in hand.
Actually, Natalie, I have another question, if I can, please.
Sure.
I'm a little confused, and I'm not sure if you can answer this, but I'm hoping you can. So I've had a direction that I've been going in, as in opening and launching a new business, teaching yoga and meditation to preschoolers in childcare centres. This is due to start next week, where I'm going out and canvassing.
Yep.
what's happened is somebody has called me and asked me to do mentoring and courses for them, programs for them. And so that's taken me off in sort of a very unexpected direction.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering, how does that happen? How is it? I was so confused as to what my direction is, I suppose. How is it that you can be so intent and have things germinating is the word, like I've sort of set things in motion somewhat, and then be taken completely off in a different direction?
Yep. Well, you might find that those directions intersect somewhere down the track. So I would be going with the flow with both right now and seeing where they lead. That's
okay.
Sense. Unless someone
You're
else.
so clever. Something just landed for me, actually. I get that. Thank you very much.
Cool. Yay! Goodie.
Yay! Thank you.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, and I look forward to seeing some of you trees in a couple of weeks. And Leonie, yes.
Gillian.
Jill had. Oh, I thought you were waving goodbye.
After the last session when we were doing the mentoring in the group coaching, I talked about how my soil had to be put into pots. This is actually really consolidated everything, and I can see those pots. So I'm not that big, huge, farmer. I'm now the gardener, so that's actually made so much sense. Everything's dropped into place.
Oh, good. Yes, awesome. That's right. We don't all have to be farmers. Some of us are gardeners. Good point, Jill. Priscilla's got a question.
I'm with you, Jill. It's interesting how I've started to sort of really feel like I need to focus on a couple of things and not try and make it so broad that it's overwhelming in its scope. And so I've ironically enough, since I've moved into this house, I've now actually collected a significant number of pot plants around my veranda. So it's like I've got this little garden is growing, and it's very cool because they're all manageable in different pots instead of just being a massive, field. So I love that analogy, Jill. That's brilliant.
I've got 4 in my office. I've never had plants inside.
Wow.
Oh my God. It's got to be done yet. I'm going to bring them in too.
The soil creators are showing us how it's done. Cool. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for today, for your wonderful presence. Oh, Jill's got another question. Or are you saying goodbye this time? That was a moving hand? All right. That was a moving hand. Yes. So if you do have questions or anything you want to share about your Aries cycle, please do so in the group. We're always happy to hear. So lots of love for your fiery month ahead.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.